The saga continues in the Alex Murdaugh case. The prominent lawyer is back in South Carolina following his arrest in Orlando on Thursday. He's charged with obtaining property by false pretenses. The arrest warrant shows that 2 checks were written to move insurance settlement money that was supposed to go to the family of his deceased former housekeeper to an account owned by Murdaugh himself. He's accused of trying to arrange his own death so his son could collect a $10 million insurance policy. That's a separate charge. Murdaugh is also a person of interest in the murder of his wife and other son in June. And joining me now to talk about the Murdaughs' compounding legal troubles is investigative reporter Andrew Davis from our Savannah, Georgia station. Thanks so much for taking the time here. I know you're busy.
It's a little bit, but it's all good. Always good to talk to you. Appreciate it.
All right. Well, he was arrested for allegedly misappropriating funds related to the death of his ex-housekeeper. Investigators started looking into that case again when his wife and son were murdered. It's hard to keep all of this straight. Then he was shot in the head. The housekeeper died, and then he agreed to pay a settlement to her family, but we never really knew what that involved before, and now we have a little bit of a better picture.
Yeah, we have a lot better picture on this one. What you're looking at is a situation where he used a P.O. box, a false name of Forge Consulting, which is a actual company that handles things like this in North Carolina, had the money delivered to him through a lawyer friend of his, Corey Fleming, who he told to the Satterfield family to go ahead and use as their lawyer in this case and sue him for the insurance money. He proceeded to get more than $2.9 million in checks delivered. Where that money went, no one really knows yet, but Murdaugh has said that he did get those checks. Now the question is, the Satterfield family never knew anything about it. There's the case where he was also shot supposedly for insurance money, but the man who shot him is still debating whether that actually happened the way he's claiming it is. And you can see in those pictures right there that are in front of you that he doesn't even look like he was shot in the head, yet the medical records say he had a skull fracture and an in and out wound from his brain. Not to mention the other 2 cases that are connected to the family right now, including the death of a 19-year-old girl back in 2019 from a boating accident from his son, Paul, who was shot and killed just a few months ago, and then a murder from 2015 of Stephen Smith in Hampton County, which now is being under question. It was originally called a hit and run. Now they're saying there could be even more questions about whether this was truly a hit and run or it was something else. And Paul Murdaugh or any of the Murdaugh family still could have been involved.
So going back to the housekeeper case with this settlement money, does this appear to be a conspiracy with the family in which they plotted to get this insurance money and he was supposed to hand it over to them and he just never did? Or did they have no idea and no guilt or involvement in this scheme?
The family says they never knew that any settlement was happening. In fact, they never knew anything was finished at any point. They've never seen a dollar from this case. They're now suing civilly. That lawyer, Corey Fleming, we were talking about, who worked with Alex Murdaugh to make that settlement and pull that money to Murdaugh himself, is already given back his portion of the funds. His law firm given back their portion as well, and his law firm has kicked Corey Fleming out completely. So as far as we know right now, this was a scheme between Alex Murdaugh and Corey Fleming himself, as well as the gentleman who was the personal representative for the estate in this case. So you're looking at 3 people who had something to do. The family said, we just want to know where the money went and why we never got it in the first place.
And we learned a little bit about that death because we didn't know anything about how she died and why he was responsible. Right now, it turns out in these court papers that it's revealed she tripped over his dogs.
Yeah, there's a lot of questions involved with that. The rumor mill's been spinning in Hampton County, as with everything that's gone on here. They have reopened that investigation as well as the monetary investigation in the Satterfield's death in this case. You've got to look at this going, well, what happened? Did something happen? Was there someone who pushed them? Was there truly an accident? Was this designed to be the first set of the insurance fraud? And then people start to bring in the murders and the other situations there. Were there insurance fraud situations that Alex, who has claimed to be an addict for more than 20 years, started with to try to get some of this money to try to pay all these bills that he had supposedly from all the opioid addiction that he's had?
All right. Well, there is a lot to keep track of. Thank you for getting to the bottom of it for us, investigative reporter Andrew Davis. We appreciate you joining us tonight.